Greetings and salutations, dreamers in dreamland. Welcome to the latest edition of Listen to Me. Today is Friday, November 27th. It's Black Friday here in the United States, the day after Thanksgiving. I hope everybody had an incredible meal yesterday with their families, their friends, as I did. I hope you enjoyed it as well. What I have for you now are my weekend picks. All right, this is a tremendous weekend of boxing. And I'm chiming in. I'm going to give you my weekend picks. Let's start with today in France. In the country of France, we've got Tony Yoka, Olympic gold medalist in the 2016 Olympic Games in the super heavyweight division. Actually, that was an incredible class for the Olympics in the super heavyweight division. You had Joyce winning the silver medal. You had Filip Hrgovic winning the bronze. Both gentlemen have had, fairly successful professional careers thus far. And Joyce has a big fight this weekend as well. We'll touch on that later with another up-and-coming prospect turning contender in Daniel Dubois. We'll touch on that later, but we're going to start with Tony Yoka. Today at 2:30 p.m. on ESPN+, Tony Yoka will be facing off against Christian Hammer. Christian Hammer is a durable veteran of the heavyweight division. He's been in there with the likes of Luis Ortiz. Did come up on the losing end, but he's a world-class guy. He's got some mileage on him. So I think, this fight, I'm calling Tony Yoka's second-round knockout of Christian Hammer. That's the way I see it. I see Tony Yoka just being too much, too strong, and just mowing him down. Just mowing down Christian Hammer in the second round. That's the way I see it. No disrespect to Christian Hammer, world-class athlete. Solid heavyweight boxer. But Tony Yoka, from what I've seen of him, especially in his last fight, this guy's coming out there to get that guy out of there. Tony Yoka is truly a class above many heavyweights, and, Christian Hammer is going to be no different. Tony Yoka is going to get that guy out of there in the second round. Moving on. Tonight on DAZN in Hollywood, Florida, nonetheless, Daniel Jacobs will be facing off against Gabe Rosado. Gabe Rosado, who's very, very durable, a tested guy, a guy who's been in the ring with Peter Quillen. He's been in the ring with, many world champions, but he's never been a world champion himself. Again, hate to say it, but there are levels to this. And as tough as Gabe Rosado is, Daniel Jacobs, look at his resume, all right? The guys he's lost to, one of them is retired, Dmitry Pirog. If my memory doesn't mistake me, I believe it was Dmitry Pirog, retired undefeated with a back problem, a real, killer in that ring. He got caught, got knocked out. He moved on from that fight. He won. He moved forward. He had more success. His other loss, Triple G. That fight was extremely close. I actually scored it 6-6. I believe Triple G scored a knockdown in the fight, which, gave him the edge by 1 point. But there's no shame, especially at that time, losing to Triple G by 1 point. Jacobs' other loss in his career, Canelo Alvarez. He lost to him by decision. That was an extraordinarily close fight. I scored it 7 rounds for Canelo, 5 rounds for Jacobs. But that doesn't matter what I scored it. The judges at ringside saw it a similar way. And I don't believe this is one of those instances where Canelo was really favored with an incredible, decision slanted in his favor, like in some of the other, questionable cards from judges. I don't believe that's what happened in that fight at all with Jacobs. I believe that Canelo beat Jacobs in a very close fight. However, Jacobs always showed class, always showed toughness, durability, and just overall that he's a world-class, great fighter. So, I'm picking Daniel Jacobs to knock out Gabe Rosado. I can see it happening late. I can see it happening in the final round, the 11th. Personally, I'm calling the 10th round. I'm calling for a 10th round stoppage. Daniel Jacobs to knock out Gabe Rosado in the 10th round. That's the way I see that one. Now, Saturday, big day, tomorrow. Daniel Dubois, Joseph Joyce. Okay? Dynamite Daniel Dubois versus the Juggernaut Joyce. Incredible fight. Both guys from the United Kingdom. As I touched upon earlier, Joyce, silver medalist in the super heavyweight division in the 2016 games, okay? The Olympic Games. So Joe Joyce is an experienced, tough guy with a good amateur background. He's durable. He doesn't throw the quickest punches. I don't think he has the fastest feet, although I don't think he's as slow, with his feet as some may perceive. I think he has good footwork. I think he has, fairly quick feet for a guy that size. He's a very big guy. He's a super heavyweight. I think he's about 6'6". Usually comes in around 260. He's a 250. He's a big guy. All right, and Daniel Dubois is a big guy too. And Daniel Dubois, I feel, has faster hands. And he may not have faster feet or better footwork, but I think he has a better jab. Daniel Dubois really has an underrated jab, and he can take a shot. He can. Daniel Dubois can take a shot, as can Joe Joyce. But I think for hand speed and I think for one-punch knockout power, I like Daniel Dubois' chances. I like Daniel Dubois' dynamite, to use his nickname, his moniker. I like his dynamite capabilities. I like how he can really deliver a bomb quickly. He can really, get a guy out of there with a quick punch, with a fast right hand or a fast left hook. I'm calling for Daniel Dubois to stop Joe Joyce before the half. I'm seeing it in the 5th round. I'm seeing a 5th round knockout. Daniel Dubois knocking out Joe Joyce in the 5th round. That's the way I'm calling that one. Moving on to Saturday night's, final, fight, the main event of all main events, basically, of this weekend and of boxing for, a very long time. And I'm touching upon the Tyson and Jones exhibition. Now, supposedly there's not going to be a winner chosen, so to speak, and there's no official judges. But as I do read, there are going to be former fighters that are going to be judging at ringside on behalf of the WBC, and I believe the WBC is going to be awarding some kind of Legends title. So in that capacity, I'm a big, advocate and a big supporter of this event. Now look, I'm a guy who loves boxing, okay? I watch boxing on every platform because you're supposed to watch boxing on every platform. Okay, for example, I'm not really crazy about the way the PBC does business all the time, as many, boxing fans either love the way they do business or are not very fond of the way they do business on their island policy. Some people don't like the way Bob Arum does business. Some people don't like the way Eddie Hearn does business for whatever reason. I happen to like Eddie Hearn. I happen to think Bob Arum is, a Hall of Fame promoter, as he is. I have a lot of respect for Bob Arum. I think Eddie Hearn is the future of promoting and his ideas and the way he moves. But my feelings, that's worth 2 plates of piss. The bottom line is this. If you're a boxing fan, you're supposed to watch boxing, okay? Fight City USA just debuted on NBC Sports Network, which was a network I barely even knew existed. But being that Fight City USA was debuting, I watched it. And yes, it wasn't exactly HBO championship boxing in the prime, with, guys fighting for titles and, you're not going to, it wasn't like Larry Holmes and Mike Tyson or anything like that. However, it was great to see it. And you know what? Every time boxing is on, as a boxing fan, you're not supposed to discriminate. You're supposed to watch boxing. You're supposed to watch boxing. Why? Because what happens with any program on television, on streaming service, on anything? What happens with any program? If you get viewers on the program, most of the time the programming is going to continue. The programming will get more funding. The budget will grow for the program. And the program will continue on. And guess what? As a viewer, you'll be able to see it. All right? If you don't watch boxing when it comes on, if you don't watch the PBC boxing, if you don't watch the Fight City USA on NBC Sports Network, if you don't watch the boxing on DAZN, which is a great value for money, I pay $100 a year for my DAZN subscription. Canelo Alvarez fights once, Anthony Joshua fights once, both in December. If those fights were on pay-per-view, that's $75 a fight on average here in the United States. That's $150 on 2 fights. I get $100 for the year, all the fights. Okay? So every platform, ShowTime, every platform, I have respect for it, and I love to view it. ESPN Plus, $50 for the year. You get to watch boxing, in all parts of the world. For example, today, Tony Yoka in France on ESPN Plus, brought to you from ESPN Plus. It's about $50 a year, or $10 a month, or $5 a month, whatever you prefer. But it doesn't cost a lot of money. Bottom line is this. Okay, tonight's exhibition between Roy Jones Jr. and Iron Mike Tyson, two guys that are legends, two guys that have earned their right to do whatever they want, whatever the hell they want in life and in the boxing business. Outside of harming other people and committing crimes, obviously. Outside of life, outside of the boxing business and life and in the boxing business, they can do whatever they like. So this exhibition, they've more than earned the right. More than earned the right. And I've heard a lot of hate from the boxing community and fans overall about this exhibition event, and I think that's disgusting, and I think that's terrible, because this event is bringing eyes to to boxing that generally aren't watching boxing as much. Look, a lot of people don't like when Jake Paul fights, as he's fighting Nate Robinson on the same card. A lot of people don't like, they don't like these kind of events that bring in, YouTube stars. Personally, I enjoy them. Why? Because they're bringing new eyes onto the sport of boxing, okay? Now, the Tyson and Jones exhibition, the Tyson versus Roy Jones exhibition, there's not supposed to be a winner. However, there will be a title awarded, and being that there will be judges at ringside, I will pick Mike Tyson to get the quote-unquote win in the fight. One way or another, I believe he will look like the victor. However, there are two other fights on that card that I'm going to pick that there will be a winner awarded, because they are official contests. One of them does involve the YouTube star Jake Paul. He's fighting Nate Robinson. Yes, Nate Robinson, the I think 3-time NBA dunk contest champion. Former New York Knick Nate Robinson, former Chicago Bull Nate Robinson. Look, I think we're going to find out in that fight. I think the whole world is going to see on display that there's a difference between a professional athlete and a guy who might have played high school football, a guy who's who looks good in the gym, a guy who's a generally good athlete and a cool guy, maybe, I don't really know, but a cool guy who's fairly athletic and a professional athlete. I think we're going to see Nate Robinson knock Jake Paul's head off in the first round. I mean, think about it. Boxing, your power basically comes from your legs, okay? Overall, a lot of it comes from your legs. Nate Robinson can jump over Dwight Howard. He can jump over a 7-foot man. I think he's going to land an uppercut on Jake Paul that's going to knock his head clearly almost off. And I think Nate Robinson's going to knock out Jake Paul. And I'm looking forward to seeing it. I think it's going to be funny and entertaining. I also, on that same card, there actually is a world-class fighter, Badou Jack, who on more than one occasion in the past has been on the sour end of some some judges' scorecards. Most recently, when he I felt should have been awarded a win in his last fight. I've truly felt that Badou Jack should have been awarded that win in his last fight. But again, it doesn't make much of a difference to what I feel. But he's fighting a guy, Blake McKernan. Blake McKernan, I mean, he looks like a good boxer, but again, there's levels to this, boxing like anything else. And Badou Jack has, been in there with, world-class opponents. He's beat world-class opponents. Badou Jack is the real deal, okay? Truthfully, truly, he is the real deal. Not to call him Evander Holyfield, but Badou Jack, look for him to knock out Blake McKernan in the first round. I'm looking for I think that's going to be a first-round knockout. Again, Blake McKernan, I haven't seen that much. The limited footage I have seen, I think he's solid. I think he's a good boxer, but I don't think he has a chance against Badou Jack. I think Badou Jack is going to knock him out in the first round. But all in all, I hope everyone enjoys this incredible weekend of boxing. Starts today, 2:30 ESPN Plus. It ends Saturday night with Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. On pay-per-view. On the exhibition. I hope everybody tunes in. I hope everybody enjoys. And as always, I love each and every one of you, but not near equally. Until we meet again, dreamers in dreamland, I'm the Dream. Peace.